Hey everyone, and welcome to our playthrough of our demo for our indie game Kingsblood. I'm Don, one of the 3 developers who created this game. The game has been in development for close to 3 years. We have no publisher, we have no funding, but nonetheless the game has become quite huge, filled with features, and we are very proud and quite happy that the final game is very close to the vision we had for the game right from the get-go. Now, about Kingsblood, it is a tactical RPG, and I think it is really unique in how it is. At least I don't know a game comparable to Kingsblood, and I would best describe it as a mixture of the popular formulas of auto chess or teamfight tactics combat system and classical RPG elements like character progression, finding items, and yeah, the typical stuff you see in RPGs. Aside from that, Kingsblood is super story heavy, and you will learn about that in a second, and I will quit talking and let's jump right into action and play the game together.
In ancient times, the kingdom of Arthania was not ruled by the living, but under a firm grip of the demons from deep down the gates of hell. As slaves to their masters, all the living were cultured like cattle until their souls were ripe to be consumed. Their lifeless shells were forced into the ranks of undead armies which spread like a plague into all corners of the world. Fortunately, things changed. The tale tells that of a child whose soul was so powerful that no demon was able to even stand in its presence was born. He was known as Moyal, the avatar of God, and his soul radiated so much energy that he not only became king and united the living, but broke down the shackles of slavery. After his death, his soul was stored within Grimguard, an artifact of unimaginable power which served as a barrier preventing any demons to lay a foot into the lands of Arthania ever again. It is said that only descendants of his direct bloodline can uphold the power of Grimguard. That's why the king's blood may never dry up. More than 400 years this was the case, and Grimguard had been passed from one generation to the next, until...
Alright, so that's been the intro video for our game, and as you can see, Kingsblood is quite story heavy. In fact, we have so many dialogues that the scope of the game is close to a novel. And here we have the first act screen. Let me read it out. Unusual times. While Act 1 sets the tone for the upcoming events, its scope might overwhelm some players. Feel free to skip segments of text by using the dialogue controls at the bottom of the screen, or skip the whole intro by pressing the skip intro button.
Help!
Alright, here we are on the world map. We get a little tutorial explaining how the dialogue controls work. I, as the developer, of course know how they work, so let's start with autoplay mode.
Why does this brat always have to scream like that?
Monsters!
Stop it, you little brat. You'll scare away our prey.
Come on, Alra. Be nice to your sister.
I swear I'm not lying this time.
Ah! My arm! It ripped out my arm!
What's going on here? Draw your weapons, fast!
I told you.
What are those creatures?
Stop talking and finish this first!
Okay, our first combat, and once again a tutorial. It just tells us about the basics. We have an auto battle system, so the easiest thing to start an auto battle is just pressing the play button, and that's what I'm going to do.
Ouch! It bit me.
Hold on, sister!
Now, after you press the play button, the combat will play out, so combat formation is very important, but you will still have possibility to influence the fight actively, and for that we have consumables. As you can see, our little cover girl Rilka got injured, and what we will do right now is we will take a heal pot and heal her up. Alright, but now let's keep going and see if we can win this fight.
What the hell was that?
Well, honestly, this fight wasn't too hard, and the intro serves as a large tutorial but also introduces you to the deep story of Kingsblood. It is quite dramatic and it kind of hurts me to not show you everything, but we decided for this demo, this is our second playthrough, to skip the intro and jump right into the, let's call it the real game loop of the game. So, once again, let me read it out. Act 2, in unity lies our strength. After the dramatic events leading to the loss of half of the group, Rayu and his comrades decided to join Falkmar and work on rebuilding his mercenaries guild. Both parties share a common goal, getting revenge on the Crown's army, and maybe together, although it seems just a glimmer of hope, there is a chance to find Alra and Rastaval alive. Okay, and this is now how the game starts. We are told to unlock 2 cities by sending spokesmen, and some of the cities you see right here are a bit brighter than the other cities. Samzion and Daradolor, that's because we are here as our hideout, and currently we can only reach those 2 cities. So let's unlock our first city, Daradolor. It costs 100 influence. Okay. And as you can see, we only have 80 influence left, so I cannot unlock Samzion as well. So I have to earn some influence first. And to earn influence, we are going to do some quests. And well, this quest looks easy. Once again, we are confronted with zombies, and Kingsblood is really full of little Easter eggs and texts, and some of them are also quite funny and randomly assembled. Let me read out this one here. Brains. I was walking my dog at Mithra's family's silver tunnels when I heard someone shouting grains. I thought someone might be hungry and reached into my pocket to hand some loaf of bread. I suddenly realized I looked into eyes without life, repeating the words, which I finally understood. The creature did not want grains, but brains. I ran for my life and came right here to the town hall. We need to act fast before they eat more brains. Alright. And just one thing about this playthrough. A lot of stuff happens in Kingsblood totally randomly. So it was quite hard to prepare myself for this playthrough, but we will just take things as they come. So now we're going on the mission Brains, and here comes the part you might know from games like Teamfight Tactics. This is the synergy system. You see at the bottom of the screen, all our characters have different synergies. As an example, Rayo is a fighter. This is Rayo. But you see here is the number 1 of 2, so we need another fighter to get a combat buff. Now we have to unlock the fighter synergy, and we still have the possibility to take another fighter. We currently have 4 or 5 fighters or followers selected. Let's see if we can build another synergy. Currently we don't have that many followers. We just take Falkmar with us, I'd say. Okay, so currently we only have a fire synergy and a warrior synergy, but let's keep going. Now we are in the equipment mode and we have some start items, so let's equip our people. We gave one rare item for the start. This item here gives movement speed +5. I would say not the biggest luck here, but let's give it to one of our melees, to Torben. And we have a dagger with attack damage, and I will give it to our archer Tara. And then we also have a focus regeneration ring. I think I give it to Tara as well, so that she keeps on putting out more damage. And then we also have consumables. Those were the ones you just saw. I gave Rilke, and I think I will give a heal pot to Torben and also to Rayo. These are our 2 warriors, and I plan to put them on the front line, I guess. And about the other consumables, I will tell you about those a bit later. Okay, let's go. Press the turn button, and we're on our first mission.
My poor Tara. I wish someday you can forget the horrors of the past and gain back your speech.
Okay, and as you can see, there was a little interaction between followers. Once again, we have hundreds of these interactions, and everything, the whole story, everything is voice acted. So once again, I've said it really often. Thanks a lot to all the voluntary voice actors who did such a tremendous job. I think the voice acting is one of the strong points of Kingsblood. But now let's go for the combat. And you can see in comparison to the first fight, we have these arrows right here. So this is a feature which unlocks basically during the intro scene. Since we skipped the intro scene, I will explain it to you right now. It is probably one of the most important features of Kingsblood. Because at first, the arrows will explain you who you attack. Falkmar is an assassin, so he will jump into the backline and attack the target which is the farthest away. This zombie right here does pretty much the same. It's an ambush unit. So if I position Falkmar right here, the zombie will jump to Falkmar, Falkmar will jump to the zombie will jump to Falkmar. So they will basically exchange places. And if they would attack each other, then you also see a coloration, because Falkmar has a red arrow, and this means Falkmar is actually weak against this zombie. He will only do half damage. And why is that? You see, around the heroes are these little auras. And these auras are the soul colors of our heroes. It's a bit like a Pokemon system, right? Falkmar has a earth soul, and the zombie has a water soul, and earth is weak against water. There are other examples, right? Let's see. Here we have fire. Fire is weak against light. Maybe let's see if we also have a strong one. I think we don't have a strong one right now. Here we have a strong one, right? So if I put Torben right here, he will actually do double damage against this guy right here, because Torben has a storm soul and this zombie right here has a light soul. And you also have, for if you don't know what element is strong or what soul is strong against what other soul, you have a little cheat sheet right here, and here it says storm, clouds, light, and that's why Torben is very strong against this creature right here. Alright, so these are the basics for combat formation, and the formation will really strongly influence if you can beat a fight or if you will fail a fight. Okay, but now let's start the fight. It is obviously super easy. It's the first fight. You won't have a problem with crushing these zombies. And that's what we did. We're also collecting experience like in every comparable RPG, and at some point we will also get a level up, but that's something for later. Okay, and I would say I go with this Helm of Shielding.
As our old guild hall was burned down, we are hiding at this place now. We should make this place a bit more cozy.
Alright, and the first thing I want to do is to put the helm we just found to one of our followers, to one of our frontline fighters. I think I give it to Rayo. And this is basically the most important game menu we have. It is our hideout menu. And here you see all our fighters, and as you can see, you are able to unlock a lot of additional followers, 50 in total. They all have unique mannerisms, a different look, and most important, everyone has a different special attack. That's something we didn't talk about yet. I will show it to you in the next fight. Yeah, everyone has different synergy classes, basically. Now Rayo is one of the Kingsbloods. But as you have already known, he's a fighter. And there is also a third synergy class, and this is the Soul. And it is not fixed. It will change from playthrough to playthrough. And we implemented it to increase replayability. And also to avoid that you can just have a cheat sheet and look up the best group, right? If you're building a group, we don't want that there is a perfect group. It will feel different in every playthrough. Alright, but we got a mission. You see right here, we are supposed, Falkmar told us we want to make our home a bit more cozy. So let's do it. This is our, that's how our hideout currently looks. And we can also interact with the people here. For instance, with Orlish, even though he does not like to talk.
What?
We can even annoy him a little bit.
Yeah. The weather is fine. Whatever. I don't care.
And this was just one example for the many Easter eggs we have in the game. So there is so much fluff. I guess if we would have a publisher, he would not have allowed us to put in so much of these little Easter eggs. Anyhow, we're going to construct the guild hall as asked before. And that's quite easy. Let's do it like that. And honestly, the guild hall UI, you just saw the construction UI, will be improved in the final game. Okay, now we could actually now press the turn button, but we're warned that all our followers are still not on a mission, and that's one of the important parts of Kingsblood. Sending followers on missions, gaining influence, conquering cities, and spreading our network until we know about further goals. Right? Kingsblood is super story heavy, and from time to time there will be dialogues popping up telling us how to proceed in the game. Once again, we have a super easy quest against rats, everything random, but we should not have a big problem with beating up these rats. Okay, and I think I'm going with the same group as before. And equip items, we have everything equipped. Let's start.
I am not a born fighter, but you guys have become my family. I'll stick with you no matter what.
I feel the same, brother. We will push through this together.
Okay, and I guess the fight against the rats won't be too hard, but just let me show you this. This would actually be a very bad situation, because the rat is going to attack Orlish and will do double damage against Orlish. These striped arrows indicate that an enemy is attacking me. But anyhow, rats should be very easy, so I'm not too worried. And let's keep going. Alright. I think I'm going with the attack damage, plus 10. And now a lot of stuff happened. You see, I got a notification, and this notification tells me that something happened. Let me read it out. You made a good first reputation established with Anyasil. Anyasil is basically the whole area you see right here. It's the area of the elves. And yeah, we did a good impression. We have established reputation. So let's click on this notification and it will lead you towards this reputation tab. We could have also gone here by just clicking on the city, and there is a little star. The star also helps us to indicate or to see that we get a reward. Okay, and we got actually 2 rewards. We got reward for the whole Anyasil faction, the elves, and this is Arcanium. I will explain you later on what Arcanium is all about. but also we get a new party member.
A mercenaries guild, traveling the world and accomplishing heroic deeds. My chance to become a man. That's what my father said before he kicked me out. So, here I am. I guess we have to work together from now on. Get ready for some beautiful music.
Okay, our first additional follower. And here's the synergies. He's a supporter, he's an elf, and here's the random soul color of light. Okay, and now if we go on new missions, we could actually bring Lyrica with us. And once again, an easy mission. Now, of course, we created the quest flow that you start out with easy or medium quests. They will get harder, believe me. Alright, and since we got a new follower, I'm interested in bringing Lyrica to the fight together with Holdor. Holdor is also a supporter, because now we have a supporter synergy. And this supporter synergy will give every group member a little starting shield. And maybe let's do it like that, and we are even stronger. Now we have the fighter synergy unlocked, the supporter synergy, and we have also the life synergy unlocked. Okay. Probably, once again, it's very easy. So, let's go. Oh, and once again, I'm stopped. I tried to press turn and send them on the mission, but I forgot something. So let's cancel it. We can unlock a new city. You see, we have 100 influence. So now we are free to go to the next city and spread our network. So we also sent a spokesman to... I could go to Ostlingen, Aschalador, Yilashal or Samsion. I want to go to Aschalador. So let's unlock Aschalador.
Well done. Our influence is growing.
Still no information about Aura or Razduval?
Actually, there might be something. One of our informants told us today that an old man in company with what seemed to be an old witch has been seen just north of Gastria. If we could set up a spokesman in Gastria, we might find out more.
Alright, so that's what I tried to tell you before. There will be story events and they will push forward the story. So while we can play freely, we can also follow up the story, and we are supposed to spread influence towards Gastria. And that's when probably more story events will happen. But you will see, story will basically happen all the time. But let's keep going with where we are right now. And let's press the turn button. Alright. The fight was quite easy, and you see Rayos already well positioned. I pull Torben away so he will not be attacked with double damage. And you see Lyrica in that case would have done half the damage, but I want him to do full damage, so I start the combat like that, and once again should be quite easy. Okay, and I paused the combat for a second because this is one thing I didn't tell you about so far. You see these little bars under the life bar, this is the focus. And if a character reaches a full focus bar, then they will unleash a special attack. You can also right click on the units and read what they are doing. And these slave holders here, let's see together. These criminals hold their halfling victims as slaves. Due to punishment and mistreatment, the halflings obey them no matter what. When at full focus, they will summon 2 slaves with the same level. Alright, so if he's not dying before unleashing the special attack, he's currently in the animation, he will summon 2 more halfling slaves, I hope. Okay, it was 1 because there was not more space. But that's how the system works. And maybe you also saw that Torben had full focus and did a spin around attack. This is basically Torben's special attack. Okay. Okay, I would say we go with, once again, attack damage.
What do you want?
My lord, we found another one.
Show me.
You murderers, let go of me!
Okay, so these are the story events popping up now and then, and I think I said it before, we have dialogues in the scope of, well, I would say close to a novel. Since I skipped the intro, I would suggest that I also skip this part, so that you yourselves can figure out the story. I think it's, I mean, what else should I say? But I think it is really a nice story, and I really like it. That's all I can say. But now, you see, we have the dialogue controls. We can also skip these segments completely if you don't like story. I actually love the story, but for this playthrough, let's skip it. And what we could right now is, you see, we have a new quest. Right, we are now in turn 4. We have a new quest, and this quest is a blue one. And the moment you have 2 cities, you will only have a chance to get a quest, right? Daradolor is unlocked, but this turn we don't have a quest, but at least we have a quest in Ashalador. And that's what we will do right now. We will send our followers on a quest at Ashalador, and this is a blue quest. Blue quest means those are city-specific quests, and they are a little bit more special. So maybe and usually they start a quest line, a city-specific quest line. So maybe let's read out this quest text. It is strange. It seems as if the evergreen forest is losing its voice. The birds have stopped chirping. The insects are buzzing less, and it is as if a dark silence has fallen over the land. Some farmers have been reported that animals have become hostile. Please go to Remura village and fend off some deers gone wild, and maybe you can find out more about what's going on. So let's do that.
It seems our beloved nature is turning against us. Strange. I'm glad you took that mission. Good luck.
All right. Yeah, I want to go with our power group. Lyrica, Rayo, Torben, fighter synergies, supporter synergies. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. And we even have a new item. I will give it to Torben. And let's go.
By Mojarl. This axe has seen better days.
Okay, and...
Oh, we could find a local weaponsmith next time we have a mission in one of the cities.
How about we build a forge ourselves?
Ourselves?
Yes. One of the locals we recently helped sent us some construction materials, and our guild is growing day by day. We should start constructing right now.
And that's... okay, let's first start out with what we have to do right now. We're supposed to build a forge. Let's do it. Okay. And we'll take 3 turns and we will have a forge. And as you can see right here, the landscape has changed a bit. The guild hall looks different than before because now we have building slots right here. And we are a bit unlucky because what we see right here is a dungeon, and dungeons are actually special quests. I could also take on the dungeon, but currently I don't have enough followers, but maybe I do it anyhow. Let's... Okay, you see I could only select 2 followers for the quest, for the dungeon. A dungeon is not too easy, but I will just do the dungeon quest the next turn, right? I accepted it. I can go there whenever I want. But now let's get back our followers from this mission so I can send them on the dungeon next turn. Okay, and I think the deers are once again quite easy, even though this is not the best positioning. And you see I can also increase the speed of the dungeon controls. You see I really want to go for the dungeon, that's why I just increased the speed. Okay. And once again, not the most powerful items. But we are in the next turn, and I'm free to send my group towards a dungeon. And for dungeons we should really take our best group, because they are a lot harder than the usual missions. And maybe I should think about the way how I equip my followers. For this we also just recently added a button. Based on your feedback, you guys were annoyed a little bit that we don't have an unequip all items button, so we added this one. And now let's see, I really want to put all my power items, all my damage items on Tara. Yeah, that's how I want to do it. And I think...
What a powerful item.
I want my tanks to have shields. Alright, and Lurica's actually a healer, so I give him focus regeneration so that he heals more often. I think that would be a good choice.
This comes in handy.
But the most important part for a dungeon is probably taking consumables with you. We didn't use them too much so far. And we have these special dungeon consumables called Trap Disarm Kits and Lures. And they will allow us to skip specific events. But I think we are fine now. And now let's go for a dungeon.
Guys? Someone's following us.
Fenya. Me. Fenya.
Oh! She must be hungry. Here you go, little girl. We've got some spare food.
Thank you.
All right, sweetheart. We got to go now.
Okay, so let's start exploring. Oh, and we step right into a light trap. And these traps can be pretty devastating. Since I have a trap disarm kit, I could get rid of the light trap, but I want to show you what happens if you get hit by the light trap. That's what's going to happen. You get quite a lot of damage, and the damage will be corresponding to the soul color. So Lyrica, I think, had the soul color of light, so he does not get any damage. But Torben, well, he is... I'm not sure what soul color he is at the moment, but he got quite a lot of damage. Now let's keep going. And it's quite nice since we found a healing fountain. Yeah, let's drink it. And we're fine again. Okay, and we got a power-up shrine. And this power-up shrine now gives us 30% attack damage until the end of the dungeon, which is quite strong. Quite lucky how this went so far. And here we have now a fight. And we can always read about the what could possibly be the encounter. So these descriptions just hint at it. So maybe I read it out to you so that you know what I'm talking about. So we have someone shouting echo. You hear someone shout from further down the halls. Haha, Osmosh, it worked. The cave replied to you. I need more alcohol to understand this trickery. But Morgosh, we are already wasted and Andosh told us to keep watch. Oi, Osmosh, keep watch for what? We are sitting here for 1 week and nothing has even moved. I need something to keep myself warm. And don't worry, if someone dares to enter our hood, we will beat them up, drunk or not. So, what we see there must be some kind of humanoid and, well, drunken humanoids, strange names. They must be dwarves.
The girl from before! Go away! This is too dangerous for you!
Fenya, stay. Fenya, fight!
Alright, and in dungeons, the dungeon formation is really important, because you will keep the life after a combat, so we don't want to get too injured, but it looks already like a really good setup. You see, Torben will deal double damage against this dwarven thug right here. And Rayo will be targeted by both of these archers, but he will only get half of the damage by the archers, right? Because that's how the elemental wheel shows us. And making the dungeon even a bit more easy is that we got a random follower appearing, Fenya, who just decided, since we gave her a little bit of food, that she helps us out. And one more thing I want to show you is that you see all our followers now have a shield, which is very strong in dungeons, and this is due to the supporter synergy. Okay, anyhow, let's go for the fight. Let's decrease the speed once again. Normal speed. And we did quite well, but even though Ryu was only attacked by archers who do half the damage, he lost quite a lot of life. And now we have to deal with that throughout the whole dungeon. Now just imagine we didn't position Ryu at a good position and they would have dealt double damage. We would have lost Ryu at this point already. Okay, let's keep exploring, and very cool, we found a treasure. And you see the dungeon items are usually of higher item quality. It's a dungeon treasure with max health, very nice. Okay. Oh, and once again we stepped into a trap, and I really don't want to get injured too much now, so I use my trap disarm kit. Of course I waste a consumable spot for that, but at least now we didn't get any damage. One more treasure. Oh, and that's really strong. Initial shield plus 51. We will be able to equip these items after the dungeon. Okay, and here we have our next fight, and you see at the bottom of the screen we have a dungeon ranking. And the dungeon ranking means the more fights I do, the better my ranking will be. Because I can just go, or what I could do now is I could just decide, well, maybe another route is a better route. I could try to skip all the fights and to go to the final boss room. But then that would be the cheap variant. I would not get such a great dungeon ranking. But if I take the risk and beat up more monsters, my dungeon ranking will rise. And the dungeon ranking will actually decide about the quality of the final loot. So if I want to get really good loot, I have to take some risks. If I just want to get out of the dungeon alive, I will just go around all of these monsters. But now here we are, and this time we have a similar text as before. We once again, this time we shout echo, and we get a reply shouting back brain. Okay, I guess we know what's coming up next, so let's fight those creatures.
By my Jarl! She follows me around like a dog!
Fenya, protect!
And I guess we still have to do some balance. I would say balancing feels already quite good, but some stats are probably too strong. You see shields, they work quite well in dungeons because they, for every fight in a dungeon, are refreshed. But now I really want to beat the dungeon, so I will take care that my fighters will have a good position. You see, that would be a bad position. The thing I really want to avoid is that the enemies do double damage. So let's pull Fenya away. Let's put her here. And this is quite good. If I put Holder right here, this zombie right here will only do half damage. You see, I can also hover over the zombie. Now the zombie will attack, getting attacked by Torben with double damage, but he himself will only do half damage. Alright, anyhow. And also I want to see what Ryu has. Oh, Ryu only has a lure, unfortunately. I was hoping he has a heal pot, but he doesn't. So, let's keep going. And of course I am quite experienced in how to deploy the units quite well during a dungeon. But it can be quite a challenge if you're new and you just send your group. dungeons can be challenging. Alright, and now something happened I was not hoping to happen. I stepped into a fire trap. Okay, and this makes, of course, the final boss fight quite a lot harder. Oh, in the light trap again. Oh, this will make the final fight quite hard. Okay, that's what I was hoping for, to get another healing fountain. I'm tempted to just ignore the healing fountain and just pick up the gold out of the fountain, so that the final fight will get a little bit harder, but let's make it safe. And we were super lucky, so this is the amount of healing is randomly. The healing fountain basically pretty much full healed our group. Okay. And now let's go to the final fight. And remember, this is a easy dungeon. We have different levels of difficulty. This is really the easiest version.
Master.
Gosh, stop saying that!
And you see, while we are in this dungeon, the special story around Fenya is basically a side story unfolds. Okay, and now we have a boss enemy. This is actually a bear, but since he's a boss, he has a special name. He's called Vinny. And also he has a special attack. He's doing a swipe attack. So if I surround him, which I basically have to do because I have too many melees, he will swipe us and, well, do some damage. But we are too strong, I guess. Oh. Rayo was close to death, but we were just lucky with the healing fountain and in general had a good party composition. And you see, now the loot is quite good, much better than the loot we got in the other quests. And I think I go for more ability power.
What are we gonna do with you?
Keep Fenya.
Valkmar won't be too happy about this. All right, you can come with us.
Fenya, happy.
Okay, cool. We got another follower. We got Fenya. She's a shapeshifter. She's an elf. And she also has a light synergy. And you see, our guild is slowly growing, and there are many ways how to unlock followers. One way I didn't talk about is also the tavern. Sometimes when we drink in the tavern, we can get a random follower offering their service. Let's hope for the best. And aside from that, there are very interesting rumors. I told you before, Kingsblood is super story rich. Once again, I think if we would have a publisher, stuff like that would have never been allowed to implement for us. But, well, we are a group of friends. We just said we want to have that stuff in our game. So that's how it goes. We can drink 3 times per day, so we don't want to promote alcoholism. But we didn't get a special event. But let me take that moment to show you what else we can find in a city. You've already learned about the reputation, you've learned about the tavern now. We also have a market, but we could buy, we could for instance buy one of this bow right here. We have 2000 starting gold, but the super powerful items like this one here, the stuff you really want to have for the late game, it's currently not achievable for us. And well, in general, the world map is pretty huge, right? Every city has their unique quest line, and every city has a cool background and cool background images. I think in terms of lore, there is really a lot to learn about this world. Okay, but now I want to do something risky. I want to show you that we can actually also send 2 groups. If you have the feeling the game is too easy for us and that we are such a great team, we just will send 2 groups because now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. So we'll try to send 2 groups with 4 people each. And by that I can of course increase the rate with how I get influence and, well, just build up a stronger force in a quicker time. And I think I'm going with that group because I have a plan for the second group. So I think in general the 2 warriors are pretty strong currently because I gave them all the items. Right? And Falkmar hasn't seen too much action so far. But I don't want to give items to those guys anymore. I think we will do it. But now here we have a second quest. And this quest has a medium difficulty and 2 bears. And
it's like a pattern. All these beasts turning aggressive. I'll follow your progress. Maybe there's more than meets the eye.
And you see we are still in the same quest line as before. Before we killed these crazy deers, now also the bears have gone crazy. And wow, that's actually really cool. There are some things going on. Aside from being able to build really cool synergies, let's start out with that. You see we have Orlish and Fenya, and now they have a shapeshifter bonus. If they reach full focus, they will turn into a shapeshifting form, and they will have extra life in this form. And now we also take the supporters, because now the chance that they reach this form is increased. Because the supporters give the shield. And also we have a light synergy, which is quite nice. But aside from that, Fenya also has an excellent motivation. You see, she will do tons of damage in this quest because she herself, let me show you this as well. She herself is a hunter and she's a survivor. And what else is she? She's obedient, so she does not like, she's scared of the royal forces. But she's a hunter and likes nature pretty much, or running around in nature. And you can see here, survivor against forest, we have a forest quest. She loves survival in the forest and she loves hunting animals, so that's why she's really, she enjoys going on that quest pretty much. And those are all the little things you which can happen. And we also implemented this system to, at some point you will probably have your favorite group, right? But if someone is really unmotivated to go through that quest, maybe it makes sense to shuffle things up a little bit. Okay, anyhow, this group is currently not equipped that well, and so I will
not a raccoon.
Give
that trash to someone else.
Well, once more of these little Easter eggs, right? Our people are super chatty, they will say funny stuff all the time. And I want to give one more ability power item to Lyrica. And now, these quests might actually be quite challenging because something else happened. First of all, before we had easy quests, now we have medium quests, but something else happened. Maybe you see this thing here in the corner, and we started out with difficulty level 5. So at the start of the game, the enemies were at 100% of their original difficulty. But since we have won so many combats without losing any combat, the difficulty has increased. Now the monsters are already, the enemies are already at 150% difficulty. And if we win 4 more fights, written at the text below, the combats will get even harder, and so on. If we lose a fight, we will drop back again in difficulty. And so this game is meant for players who don't care for the best. Players who just want to experience the story and play through the game will have their fun, but also the min-maxers who try to really push the boundaries, they can also try to rise in difficulty, and then they will get Steam score, and this is not implemented yet, but it will come for sure. We want to give a leaderboard and let you compare to other Steam players how you will basically in the end have beaten the game. you will have the ability to compare your playthrough to others. And by that also we hope that it is fun to play the game over and over again and to maybe push and do a better performance, like how I do right now. I mean, sending 4 people to a medium quest on a pretty high difficulty is a bit risky, but let's try it. Okay. So Falkmar's hiding right here, and I think now starts a time when doing a good formation really starts to matter. And you see I will pull Torben from here to here, so he does double damage. Aside from that, I don't see any way currently how I can optimize this. So let's hope that everything works out. But in general, beetles are not the strongest of enemies. Alright. Still not too hard. And this group here takes 2 turns, I think. Yeah. And we got another reputation, so let's see what we got. We actually got entry to one of the silver mines in Daradalor, if I'm not mistaken. And we could read about it in the notifications here. You get a share of the silver mines, right? Okay. And let's see if we can get more followers right now. I tried to get a follower before via the tavern, but it didn't work out. So let's see if we're lucky tonight. And here we go. Cool. We get Marlow, and we can purchase his help for 1,600 gold. So let's do it.
May the darkness guide us.
And he's actually a summoner, a class we did not see before. So human, storm synergy. And you see our guild hall is filling. And I will try to get even one more follower, and this is Pori.
Who dares to enter my halls? Ugh, a bunch of useless mercenaries. How pitiful. If you think you can impress me with your deeds, I don't care. The only thing I care for is wisdom and knowledge. And in me, you have found your master. Answer this question, or you are unworthy to stay.
Alright, so I triggered this dialogue by clicking on this little bubble. So these bubbles will appear all over Athenia. And in this case, if I am good enough and I can answer Pori's questions, he will join our group, but I'm not smart enough.
You little peasant! You wimp! You allegory of a loser! Come back when your brain has grown enough to handle my riddles.
Alright, very unfortunate, but never mind. We still have enough group members to go for another quest. I will take all 5 members I have right here. And I just want to give you a little lookout for the late game. Of course, in the early game, building synergies is quite hard. We only have 5 people available, so it is quite hard to build good synergies. But if we hover over this fighter synergy, for instance, you see if we bring 6 fighters, we get super strong buffs, right? But we can only send 5 people. Now, of course, in the late game, if you keep constructing your hideout and if you keep building up your hideout, you will be able to send more followers. In the end, you can send up to 9 followers, and at that point you will be able to create the craziest of synergy combinations. And at this point, we really don't know how this will all play out. I think it's the players will be the ones who will figure out what will be the super strong combinations, and then it will be us who probably have to hotfix. Yeah, but anyhow, that's how the game will feel in the late game. So these synergies down here will have a much bigger impact as they have right now. Okay, and Falkmar, our poor Falkmar, he's not equipped that well. And so let's push the turn. Oh, and I get a warning. You could construct buildings in your hideout, because it looks like the forge has been finished. Ah, okay. And now we have the forge. You see the forge is right here. And let's start out with building a new building. We built the Alchemist. And it's a bit sad the Alchemist did not make it into the demo. It is, of course, already completely implemented. It's the way how you can get more consumables. But the demo is restricted, so you won't be able to touch the Alchemist. But here we have the forge. And now you saw this resource we got before, Arcanium. And now we can spend Arcanium to create new items. Let me spend everything I got, 88 Arcanium, and here I can select the kind of item I want. Now I want to have something which increases ability power as an idea, right? I want to push my supporters as an example. So let's see, I got something with ability power. The amount of ability power is not that great yet, because we did not spend too much Arcanium. Later on, if I have a lot of Arcanium, I can go for the super high-end items, like we saw before in the marketplace, right? Every city has some of these super items, right? And this is what you can do with Arcanium, basically. But for that, you need a lot of Arcanium, and you can actually get Arcanium by just grinding down items. I mean, we just created this item, but just for showing it to you, let's grind down this item, and that's how we get Arcanium. You see, we just got 9 Arcanium. Okay, but now let's press turn and proceed. Maybe we can push on difficulty level 8. Okay. Okay, this is very dangerous to have Fenya right here. I think, yeah, because she will receive double damage, no matter if I put her here or here. So let's do it right, like that. So she have to go a longer way, and the bear will most probably go for Orlish. And actually this is also once again very good, because the bear does only deal half damage against Orlish. So this is basically perfect deployment. And let's do it like that, I guess. Oh, and you see, we're starting to struggle a bit. Not even sure if we do this fight. We could see if we have consumables with us. Well, Holdo has a heal pot, and Lyrica has a blinding light with him. So I will use the blinding light and use it. Well, I do it like that, and I think I can hit both bears with it. Just used it. And these bears now are blinded and didn't hold for too long, and well, they killed Orlish. Ooh. Killed Fenya. Ooh. I take the heal pot. Okay. Oi, oi, oi. I didn't see that. Oh, we lost it. Insane. Okay, I really thought would be easier, and probably I shouldn't have sent only 4 people to this mission, because now we failed it. That's a bit sad, but nevertheless, never mind. Let's see. This fight should be easier, I hope. But I don't want... Now look, this is very dangerous. This is an ambush creature, and the ambush creature will jump into the backline, and he does double damage, so he will totally rip apart Tara. And I think I will just allow it, because I want to show you I just want to show you how it plays out. And Falkmar actually, he will jump to this assassin right here, and he will stand in nowhere. Okay, but let's see if we can beat the fight if we do such a bad... well, yeah, it's not too hard. But still, Tara got a lot of damage. And of course we have the best items in this group. It's still a bit sad that we lost that one fight. And we can look into the difficulty system. We're still level 7. Maybe we have to fix something right there, honestly. But that's how it works. So basically, if you lose fights, you will usually drop very fast in terms of difficulty. If you win more and more fights, you will get harder fights, but you will also get much better loot, which is also quite enjoyable. Alright, since I lost this fight and this is a special quest line, we can repeat this fight again, but this time I still want to go with the same group I did before. Maybe let's take one more. Okay, we could actually see if we could build another synergy. You see, I can also click on these synergies, right? And I see that we have I want to build the life synergy, and Tara actually has life synergy because you see now she's highlighted, and now we have warrior synergy. Oh, we have shapeshifter synergy, supporter synergy, and life synergy. And I think the reason why we did so poorly is because all our best items were on our warriors, and that's when I use the unequip all button and I steal these items from our warriors. Let's do it like that. I really want that the shapeshifters survive. Do we have more shield? Yeah, we have. I want them to survive so that they use their special attack, because that's when they get strong. They are not strong right from the get-go. They get strong the moment they transform.
Thank you, my friend.
Sure, you're welcome. Okay, once again. And I have a good feeling that this time we will manage to beat the fight. I'm just not sure if we will see the fight since we are already in turn 9. Okay, but let's hope for the best. Maybe we have one more turn. Now, I could also go for this quest against the rats with 3 people, and I even have a good motivation. But bear in mind, oh, actually it worked. We dropped, no, okay, we're still level 7.
I will treat this baby well.
Now keep in mind, rats on a difficulty level of 7 will still be not so easy. Let's see if 3 people are enough for that. But now let's start out with the fight we just lost before. And now Orlish has a very powerful consumable. And this bear will actually only deal half damage against Orlish, and Orlish will deal double damage. So if you ask me, this all looks pretty good. I will also take Holdo as a shield, and Lyrica, well, you know, people need to attack or receive damage also to gain focus. So you get focus slowly by yourself, but you will get more focus if you attack or get attacked. Okay, but now let's see if we can... Oh, that was a bit sad. They switched towards Holdo. Okay, but you see, with the better items and with a group of 5, much easier. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can also see how well everyone performed. And Tara from the backline, she did really well. Okay. But let's see about this fight. Yeah, not much space to maneuver around. so I just don't want to block the entrance. So let's do it maybe like that. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. And you see, due to the higher difficulty, these rats are already scaled up to level 12. But still, they are still easy.
Mirage shot.
Kage Bunshin no Jutsu.
Line them up, Mirage.
And honestly, this was just a little Easter egg. This line of Marlow, he's creating shadow clones. This specific line, some of you might know it, will just happen 1 in 20 times. So we also put some little Easter eggs into the game, as I said before. Okay, but
My lady, may I enter
rats
your room?
seem to have been very easy.
You mean that prison you locked me into?
My lady, we did our best to accommodate you well.
Okay, unfortunately we have reached the turn 11, the end of the demo pretty much. One thing I would have liked to show you would be the leveling up of your followers. This is one thing I forgot in all of this hurry. But just in general, let me tell you that the game has really a lot to show. An alchemist, many features you haven't seen so far, a really big story. It's really dramatic. There are even different branches of story you can go for. So really a lot of effort, and I'm quite sad that we cannot show you all these features throughout the demo. But now let's skip this segment, and we will be at the end of the demo, and then let me say one more word. Alright, and you see it right here. Thanks for playing. Well, I played the game, but the full game will be available in the second quarter of 2023. If you have suggestions how we can improve the game, write them down in Discord, join our Discord if you want, or just write them down in our community hub in Steam. We read everything, we reply to everything, and usually we fix stuff very fast if it's a good suggestion. So it's on you, you can still influence how the game will be at the end. We're super thankful for everyone. And of course, if you liked this little preview, and if you want to experience it yourself, and it will feel completely different because everything is randomized, then play the demo, and if you like it, please wishlist it on Steam. We're only a small, well, we could not even say gaming studio. We're a small group of friends creating this game, and it would be a really big help and a really big support for us if you play it and if you wishlist that. And having that said, thanks a lot for watching, and see you in game.